Hello chaps and chapettes, long time no see. I thought I'd speak to you because I've just recently played a game, in fact it was yesterday, and the game is called Malhya Land of Legends, which is coming to Kickstarter on the 15th of March. And the reason I don't have a copy here, so cue image, is because this copy is a demo copy which is going around France, which is where I live. There are lots of French videos up at the moment about this game, and it's about time that we had someone speaking English to explain a little bit about the game. So I thought I'd do this video to give you an overview of the game, and hopefully it will pique your interest, but I'll leave that up to you. So what is Malhya Land of Legends? Well, it's a cooperative adventure game. You have to bear in mind, this is kind of Dungeons and Dragons, where you have a party of people going on an adventure, kind of Lord of the Rings style. But there are elements of Skyrim where you can just go wherever you want. So yes, the destination of your mission is there, but you could go there and then there and then there and maybe get there eventually. This game takes place on a world map, so it kind of has that Final Fantasy VII feel, the original I'm talking about, where you could be walking around and all of a sudden there's a moment where you zoom in and there's a battle, or there's an event, or there's a test, or there's someone, or there's a creature, or there's something else, another encounter or something. There is always something going on every now and again, and you'll zoom in on that moment. But at its core, because this is a Dungeons and Dragons RPG game without the Dungeon Master, you're going to have this choose your own adventure style book. Now don't worry, you're not going to be in this all the time. Now I've played games like Mansions of Madness and Descent with the app, and you are spending a majority of the time in the app, whereas in this you're kind of 50%, less than 50% in the book reading. So you'll be reading a paragraph and then it will set it up, the ambience of what you're doing, what your objectives are, and then you have these choices. But the exploring of the world is done with a card mechanism. So on the world map, you'll be having cards to draw. Depending on the time of day, you'll draw a card, and if that card corresponds with the location that you're in, you can actually move your group to another adjacent location. If it doesn't match, this card gets flipped over and you draw an event card, and you combine these cards together and it will give you a number of an event. There's also the chance to get these travel tokens, which you then, once you have the right amount, so 2 for a nice day or 3 for a miserably wet day, you can actually advance your token to another location. So you're going to be doing this to get around the world, but every now and again, as I said, an event might happen because you'll put 2 cards together, you'll get an event number, and then you read it, and it might just be an encounter with someone, it might be a creature, it might be the fact that you're lost. It could be anything. It really does depend on what the adventure and the story is. Now this kind of timeline, because it has like a day cycle and a night cycle, is quite important and integral to the story, because it actually depends on how many days have maybe passed, or what time of day it is, or what the weather is. It might affect what paragraph you read. And each paragraph that you read actually feels fluid. It kind of carries on from the next thing, or where you are, or what you've seen, or what you've got, or what you've done. So it does have like this kind of programmed kind of memory inside it. And that makes for a fluid bit of storytelling. But as I said, the storytelling is not the big bulk of the game. In fact, I did say 50%, I would say less than 50% definitely, because when you're actually having an encounter, when you're having the moments, they actually take up a lot more time depending on the event. In my personal experience, we went to a village, and we could participate in the festivities that were going on there, and we could take place in a carnival strength test. We could do a coconut shy. We could go to the theatre and watch a spectacular, or we can go to the merchant and upgrade of our equipment. Yeah, so you have all these choices, and then maybe those choices that you choose will have a knock-on effect on what you do after. So you might be stuck in the theatre for many hours because it might be a boring play, which means that the festival is shut down by the time the play is finished. Or go to the shop in the morning and it'll have all this stuff and it'll be expensive, and then you think, oh no, we'll go over there now and do the coconut shy, and then you win some money, and then you go back to the shop because now you've got lots of money, you could buy that stuff, but it's the end of the day and the shopkeeper has less goods on sale, but they're cheaper because he wants to go home light-handed. So there is this kind of realistic storytelling in the book. But as I said, this is just a random event that happened to us when we were playing. Another random event is we encountered this creature. And when we did, we were told to go to the event book, which is a separate book. And in the book, it had a picture of this monster laid out. And it had these spaces that we had to choose to go to attack this creature, because it was going to attack us anyway. So we could attack the head, we could attack the tail, we could attack the body and go for the heart and kill it immediately. So we had like these three choices. And so depending on where you go, kind of changed how you rolled your dice, your combat dice. It also, like, parts of the body might have been more defensive than another. And if you take out the head, its defense mechanisms drop down, which make it easier to kill. Or you could have just gone straight in for the heart and tried to kill it. And again, the creature itself actually activates only certain parts of its area on its turn. So if you're attacking the head and all of a sudden the head decides to attack on its turn, you're the one that's going to get damaged and not your buddy who's attacking the tail, for example. There are other events in this book which will ask you to lay out some tiles. So it might be a location, there might be just like a flower garden with lots of flowers everywhere, and then you just choose, okay, I'm going to go over to this red flower here, and it'll be marked in the book that, you know, this area over here is a red flower, go pick it up, and then you read a bit and find out what's going on. And then you'll find other events where you have to lay out a battlefield. And most of the time with the battlefield, you're going in stealth mode. So you're going to try and sneak past Solid Snake style to get to your objectives. And this has a really nice feel. The mechanics are very, very simple in regards to movement and activations and combat and things. So you're going to be moving along, you're going to try and sneak past, you may try and assassinate certain characters so you can get past it a bit easier. But unfortunately, when we did that and we tried to hide the body, a guard came walking past and saw the body, and that was it. The alarm sounded and then everyone attacked us. Fighting and combat are very, very simple systems, a lot more simpler than a lot of games that I've played, but they still have this kind of dice mitigation. So yeah, you roll this amount of dice, you could roll extra if you spend some aura points, you could re-roll if you have a special ability. Ooh, steady, cup of tea, don't attack me. But there's a lot of dice play involved in combat like you would expect, and it felt natural. Each character had their own different abilities and weapons. They have their own different carrying capacities. All of this stuff could be augmented. The weapons themselves, you can become accustomed to it and then augment it to an extra level. So combat felt good. And again, when we were in this location and we had this combat, because we triggered the alarms, when we went to the next location, the guards were already prepared for us. And so trying to sneak past them was a lot harder. Another event that happened is we got trapped in a trap. doors closed in and water started filling the room. And so again, we had to figure out how to get out, and then we had a puzzle. So the game is not going to be always moving, fighting. There are puzzles, there are enigmas, there are things written in the story that actually pay off later on. You may pick up a piece of equipment which is deliberately in a location, maybe hidden as well. So you may accidentally find this hidden piece of equipment which is really important. You might find the Ring of Sauron, for example. But you'll find it, and later on in the story, have you got the Ring of Sauron? Oh yeah, I have. It's right here in my pocket, my precious. And then something happens. As I said, your party never dies. Your party will fail, and then there'll be some consequences, but the story will continue to move forward. So the game is a game that you will learn as you play, basically, because you'll start off with a choose your own adventure and choose what you're going to do, and then you go to this land crawling where you're exploring the map and drawing cards, and you'll learn that mechanism and how that works, and then you'll have an event, and every event will be different. It may be a puzzle, it may be a fight, it may be just a positioning thing, it may be something else, it just might be an encounter or something that happens or a skill test. And it'll be a mini game inside this world of choose your own adventure. So the game is not stagnant. It's always moving and evolving, and you basically can learn the rules as you play. So it's like we get to this moment, okay, we need to learn about the stealth board and how to sneak past stuff. Once that's been done, oh, we need to learn about combat now. Okay, so let's do combat. Let's learn how to do a stealth test. Let's learn how to do a skill test on something. And so you can basically play this book and play this game and learn it as you go, so to speak. So there'd be like these little pauses where you go, okay, right, we have to do this. Okay, right. So we are in the cavern, and now we have to see if we can pick up the berries of the dragon before they wake up and realize their berries are gone. Let's go back to the puzzles and the enigmas. They're not just really simple things to figure out. Some of the puzzles are actually images in the storybook, which you have to look at and examine carefully. Some of them are just kind of, you've got to collect the pieces together and put them in the right order, and then choose the paragraph that you're going to go to actually solve this enigma. But as I said, some of the enigmas might be just a simple case of remembering what someone else said in the past. The Ring of Sauron is hidden behind that tree, fifth from the right, with the toadstool that looks like an elephant's nose. A lot of things that we actually did was a lot of tests in the game as well. So when we wanted to do something, we had to have a test for it. Now there's 5 traits, skills that you have, and you apply one of those in any kind of like subcategories. So like for sneaking, if you are you've got the sneak ability and it's night and it helps, and you're doing a test to try and sneak past something or try to loot a deposit box, you've got a better chance because it's night, you've got the sneak skill, and they all give you extra dice to roll and a chance to mitigate those dice. Whereas if you don't have those skills, you're probably going to fail and may not want to do that, but you'll always have the option to do something else. But a lot of the skill tests are kind of push your luck, basically. You may have to do a skill test on your own, you may have to do it as a group, and basically what it is depending on your competency of that test, you'll have white dice. The difficulty of the test will be represented by black dice. You roll these dice and you count up the results. Now you count up the successes and you count up the failures. If you get an X amount of failures, the test fails. So you kind of like roll, oh, I got 1 failure and 3 successes. Okay, so you take some tokens, place them out and go, okay, right, but I need probably a lot more than 3 successes. Sometimes you don't know how many successes you need. Sometimes it will tell you if you get 4 successes, you've passed. So you then decide, oh, you know what, I'm going to roll again. And if it's a group test, you could say, I'm going to stop, and now it's your turn. And the successes will be saved, the stops, the failures will be removed, and the next player will be able to play and see if they can build up this bank of successes. So there's this, it's kind of light, fun, kind of luck, push your luck testing with the dice. So yeah, if you want a game with some interesting puzzles, this has it. Not just visual puzzles, but kind of like escape room puzzles, puzzles where you have to pick up pieces and put them together in the right order. So I'm probably babbling by now, so let's wrap this video up by saying this game will have one big major campaign which you'll be able to save your progress with your character. And the other thing about it is, because this is not like a kind of legendary game, you're not going to destroy anything, because it's these random events, these random pages. You're going to go different places, different ways. You're going to do things differently. You're going to succeed at this test and fail at that test, and everything will be different every time you play. So you can play a 5-player game with your group of friends. You could play a solo game, which you'll have to control 2 characters at least, I'm afraid. But then you can, restart that campaign playing with different people, and then save your progress, and then come back to it when you want and just pull out the components and play. And that's another good advantage. There's no kind of, what would you say? There's no disadvantage to that. You can play the game as many times as you want. Maybe not find that group again, but this new group that comes in, oh, let's play this. The other thing is, there's going to be like 9 smaller scenarios that you should be able to play within a couple of hours. And they, like this starting scenario here, is pretty short. We played for about 2.5 hours, and we nearly got to the end, but we had to cut it short for the time. There's going to be that in the box, and it's going to be a one deal thing. There's not going to be like multiple pledges apparently. So you buy this and you get one big adventure, 9 small little adventures, and then maybe hopefully in the future there'll be a sequel and we'll have more adventures. So it's not just Lord of the Rings, but it'll be The Expanse. I don't know, but just babbling. So yeah, if you're looking for an adventure which has like mini games, deep story, fluid story, combat, stealth, puzzles, check this out. It's up on Kickstarter on the 15th of March. Link is going to be in the notes below this video. So there you go. Hope you found my babbling informative for you and helped you, point you in a direction whether this game is something for you. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, you can do. I can't promise that I'm going to publish a video every day. They will come up when they come up, because I'm busy doing board game soundtracks at the moment and role-playing soundtracks at the moment. So you could always go and check out my music channel, Music of Barry Doublet, on YouTube, to find soundtracks for Titan and Kemet and the Seventh Continent. Well, they're all behind me as well. That's surprising. Product publishing, product placement. That's good product placement there. So there you go. I'll just say thank you for watching, and remember to play nice with each other.
Just sitting at the table next to Felicia would be quite nice. Wouldn't it be good? I got some board games.